Welcome to this model. You are watching VLSI Design Lecture Series. Today, I am going to speak about ratioed logic or ratioed circuits. Ratioed logic is an attempt to reduce the number of transistors required to implement a given logic function, often at the cost of reduced robustness and extra power dissipation. The purpose of the pull-up network in complementary CMOS is to provide conditional path between VDD and the output when the pull-down network is turned off. So in ratioed logic, the entire pull-up network is replaced with a single unconditional load device that pulls up the output for high output. So instead of a combination of active pull-down network and pull-up network, such a gate consists of NMOS pull-down network that realizes the logic function and a simple load device. So this is what is called ratioed circuits. So the main drawback of static CMOS is its relatively large area, which requires at least two N transistors to implement N input gate. Alternative logic families that try to reduce the number of transistors needed to implement a logic function, and ratioed logic is an attempt to reduce the number of transistors. So it uses the same pull-down network as CMOS but uses a simple load as its pull-up network. So it is seen here. So the pull-up network is replaced by a single load. What you see here is the characteristics of ratioed logic. It requires n transistors plus one load, and VOH is equal to VDD, and VOL is equal to R pull down divided by R pull down plus RL. And it has asymmetrical response and static power consumption, and its slope pull up, that is TPLH, is equal to 0.69 in C into RL. The clear advantage of pseudo-NMOS is the reduced number of transistors, that is N plus 1 versus 2N for complementary CMOS. The nominal high output voltage for this gate is VDD, since the pull-down devices are turned off when the output is pulled high, assuming that VOL is below VTH. On the other hand, the nominal low output voltage is not 0 volt here, since there is a connection between the devices in the pull-down network and the grounded PMOS load device. So this results in reduced noise margins and, more importantly, static power dissipation. The sizing of the load device relative to the pull-down devices can be used to trade off parameters such as noise margin, propagation delay, and power dissipation. Since the voltage swing on the output and the overall functionality of the gate depend on the ratio of the NMOS and PMOS sizes, the circuit is called ratioed. This is in contrast with the ratioless logic style such as complementary CMOS, where the low and high levels do not depend on transistor sizes. Computing the DC transfer characteristics of the pseudo NMOS proceeds along paths similar to those used for its complementary counterpart. The value of VOL is obtained by equating the currents through the driver and the load device for V in is equal to VDD. At this operating point, it is reasonable to assume that the NMOS device resides in linear mode while the PMOS load is saturated. Assuming that VOL is small relative to gate drive VDD minus VT, and that VTN is equal to VTP in magnitude, and we can write VOL as Kp into VDD plus VTP into VD saturation P divided by Kn into VDD minus VTN, into which will be written as mu P into WP divided by mu N into WN VD saturation P. And the load can be implemented in a number of ways. Earlier, ratioed logic designs used only simple transistor as the load. This approach has several drawbacks, especially with the difficulty in transistor resistor implementation in VLSI, which may produce heat. Accordingly, the load was replaced by a diode connected NMOS transistor, also known as saturated load inverter. This circuit stopped conducting at VGS is equal to VDD minus VTN. Address weak 1, providing a largely reduced swing. To improve the swing, the NMOS, also known as enhancement mode, was replaced with a depletion mode NMOS. This is a special highly doped NMOS with a negative threshold voltage, that is VTN less than 0. And this was used for some time until pseudo NMOS inverter was invented, replacing the NMOS load with a PMOS connected to ground. And now let us move on to pseudo NMOS inverter. Consider a simple pseudo NMOS inverter. It degenerates into a single transistor with the NMOS size of 0.5 micrometer to 0.25 micrometer. And in this example, we study the effect of sizing the PMOS device to demonstrate the impact on various parameters. The W by L ratio of the grounded PMOS is varied over values of 4, 2, 1, 0.5 and 0.25. Devices with the WL less than 1 are constructed by making the length greater than the width. The voltage transfer characteristics can also be plotted. Here, the inverter that uses PMOS pull-up or load, that it has gate permanently connected to ground, and this is called as pseudo NMOS logic. PMOS is always on, and the N+1 transistors are needed to implement an input gate. An N device pull down or driver is driven with an input signal. The CMOS pull-up network is replaced by a single PMOS transistor with its gate grounded. Since the PMOS is not driven by signals, it is always on. The effective voltage, gate voltage seen by the PMOS transistor is VDD. Using PMOS in the pull-up network, we get a strong band when the pull-down is off. So VOH max is equal to VDD. On the other hand, when pull-down is on, there is a fight between PDN and the PMOS load, that is weak 0. Here, some of the features of pseudo NMOS logics are listed. The advantages are low area cost. It requires only N+1 transistors to implement an input gate, and low input gate load capacitance. And the main disadvantage here is the non-zero static power dissipation. And here is the sample of a pseudo NMOS an OR gate and a NAND gate. So we can implement any logic function using pseudo NMOS. If a logic function is given in the question paper, you have to construct the function using NMOS transistor in the pull-down network, and pull-up network has to be replaced by only a single PMOS transistor with a gate connected to ground. And now let us move on to CVSL, that is cascade voltage switch logic. It uses two complementary logic blocks, that is pull-down network. The required logic function and its inverse function are implemented simultaneously here. The gate combines two logic, that is differential logic and positive feedback. The feedback mechanism ensures that the load is turned off when not used. PDN1 and PDN2 uses the NMOS devices and are mutually exclusive. So this diagram shows the CVSL logic, so which consists of two networks for both original and complementary function. Cascade voltage switch logic has the benefits of ratioed circuits without the static power consumption. It requires mainly N-channel MOSFET transistors to implement the logic using true and complementary input signals, and also needs two P-channel transistors at the top to pull one of the output side. Both pull-down networks employ only NMOS transistors, and the networks are mutually exclusive whenever PDN1 is conducting and PDN2 is off, and vice versa. The pull-down network F implements the logic function as in a static CMOS gate, while F uses inverted inputs feeding transistors arranged in the conduction complement. The pull-down network that is on will pull that output low, and this low output turns on the PMOS transistor to pull up the opposite output high. When the opposite output rises, the other PMOS transistor turns off, so no static power dissipation occurs. So here you can see the CVSL and a NOR gate. Observe how the pull-down networks are complementary with the parallel transistors in one and series in the other. So this third diagram shows the 4-input XOR gate in CVSL. The pull-down networks PDN1 and PDN2 uses NMOS devices and are mutually exclusive. That is, when PDN1 conducts, PDN2 is off, and PDN1 is off, PDN2 conducts, such that the required logic functions and its inverse are simultaneously implemented. Assume that for a given set of inputs, PDN1 conducts while PDN2 doesn't, and that out and out bar are initially high and low respectively. Turning on PDN1 causes out to be pulled down, although there is still contention between M1 and PDN1. Out bar is in high impedance state as M2 and PDN2 are both turned off. PDN1 must be strong enough to bring out below VDD minus VTH, and the point at which M2 turns on and starts charging the out bar to VDD, eventually turning off M1. This is in turn enables out to discharge all the way to ground. So this diagram shows the example of XOR and XNOR gate. Notice that it is possible to share transistors among the pull-down networks, two pull-down networks, which reduces the implementation overhead. The resulting circuit exhibits a rail-to-rail swing, and the static part dissipation is simulated here. In steady state, none of the stacked pull-down networks and load devices are simultaneously conducting. However, the circuit is still ratioed since the sizing of the PMOS devices relative to pull-down devices is critical to functionality, not just performance. Okay, and in addition to the problem increased design complexity, this circuit style has a power dissipation problem that is due to crossover currents. During the transition, there is a period of time when the PMOS and pull-down network are turned on simultaneously, producing a short circuit path. Thank you.